Don't you love it?
Yeah, I do.
That's so cool. And Katie's back. It's a week later, and you know what? I love this haircut so much. You come back a week. I said keep it for a week, and we'll do something else next week. I'm like, why are we cutting this?
Because
I
awesome.
friggin' love it. No, we're gonna cut more. It'll grow back anyway. But you can see a week later, and this is wash and wear. You're doing nothing with it. This is absolutely what you wanted at the haircut that I gave you. Like you just want wash and wear, and it falls into this shape.
So easy.
Yep, and you look like 1976, but also today. Because it is a very classic late 70s haircut that works today as well, but that's the whole idea of retro haircuts. Everyone's wearing like old retro clothing, and it's all about let's do a haircut to match what you're wearing. So that's the whole point of this channel. Sweet! And then last week you wore that dress, so this week we'll wear the one we didn't pick. Was this the one you wore last week?
No.
No, yeah, that's right. So you wore that one last week, and we were between the two, so we were between two haircuts too. So then this is the one we didn't choose last week, and this is the dress we didn't choose last week, so this is what we're gonna do. Shorter, and this dress, so you can get changed.
Awesome.
Cool.
Thank you. And that orange.
Orange, but the shoes don't work. But like I said, same as last week. I do have shoes, but we're not looking at the shoes. We're just looking at the dress because it's all hair and upper body stuff, which is fine. But wow! And this haircut with the dress on. I don't want to cut your hair.
It'll grow back.
I know, but I love this haircut so much. Anyhow, it will grow back.
It is.
Yeah. Anyhow, grab a seat. It's gonna break my heart to cut your hair, but anyhow, it will grow back. But and we'll do the same. We'll spin the chair and people can see. So this is like a how I do video. Like I said last week, I don't like how-to video. I don't like that terminology. I prefer the term how I do.
How I do.
This is how I do it, and there's 100 other ways of doing it. This is just how I do. And if you don't like the way I do, that's fine. Because there's other ways of doing things too. There's no right or wrong in your approach. 10 different ways to get to the same result. And come on over, we can wash it. Come on over.
I think we talked last week about how much easier it is to have short hair and winds.
Yeah.
And man, we had some winds the other day.
Did you? And it was okay with you?
Yeah, it was great.
Wellington is a windy place. But yeah, it doesn't become like a windsock blowing over in this direction over there. Yeah. And people think, oh yeah, no, Chicago's a windy. But Wellington, if you look on a map where we are, it's between two islands. And the wind blows between those islands, and Wellington is a very windy place. South Pacific winds, trade winds or whatever. Yeah. Shorter. So the sides and back on that, some people do with clippers, but you don't have to. I'm going to do with scissors, and we'll just clean it up at the end with like clippers at the hairline. But this haircut we're mostly going to do with scissors, because why not? I like the old, let's flip that over to create a section. And you don't even need to have a clip to section it off. You can just do, you can just do that and up. The hair's going to go over anyway, like a comb over, to create that first section there. Because really we're going to go for around the ears. Because we're going to go short now. Have you ever had this short before, or is this a first?
I have had it quite short before, yeah.
And not for a while, eh?
Yeah, must be about a year or so now.
Oh yeah, that's cool. Oh yeah, I saw some of your haircut pictures from the past. Yeah, that's right. Cool.
One with the purple under.
Yeah.
And like the bright orange.
Yeah. So we're gonna do like the V shape. So that's why you did the first one angle going up and over the ear like that. When I see these little V shapes on the side, it reminds me of like Star Trek: The Next Generation. Because I guess science fiction haircuts used to be like, let's put some geometry in there to make them look like they're from the future. So it reminds me of that stuff, which was also a very 80s thing too. And this is 80s haircut. Anyway, so the last week haircut was more like a 78. Now we're going more like 83, 84 with this haircut. And that can go there. And then you can create a taper from the hairline up just with the scissor over comb technique. And you have nice ears to expose.
And I should wear some earrings.
Yeah, because now with short hair you have to accessorize. And see what happens, because now that it's short, you may like it and you just keep coming and doing short haircuts with me every month for in the meantime. Because people who go short and love it, you have to keep it short until you get out of your system. I don't know how your film's going to say, but maybe they don't care, your character can just have short hair. They see this haircut and you're growing it back, like, but we actually like that haircut. You never know.
I do love growing it long and then doing a big chop.
Yeah, that's fine too, because that's the other reason to grow it out, so you get that satisfaction of a big change every so often. Because cutting hair is change, and growing hair is change. They're both change. And same thing on this side, just up in that angle. I should remember to silence phones on this channel, but it's like way past that level of professionalism. But every time it goes bling, and I keep thinking, there's no phones in 1983. Same thing, put that little bit of a taper in the hairline up. You can start to see that shape come in both sides. And then in the back, we can start to clean that up. Now the back, I usually like to section, like if you go from the top of the ear to the top of the ear, you can see that section there, just rough. This sort of thing, you can clip it out of the way. Maybe it'll stay up on its own. No, I need to clip this thing. Now, like I said, there's 10 different ways to get to the same result, and some people just go with the clippers right away, but not today. We're going to take the weight off with the scissor over comb technique. And this is just taking the bulk out of it. We'll give you the fine details. And you can see that shape coming into place. So tapering it up from the hairline, and then you see the comb, how we're going tight at the hairline and out. Create that kind of taper effect. So there's advantages of hand carving it like this over using the clippers. You can taper with clippers too, but this kind of gives it a softened personal touch to it. Same thing, I'm in tight at the hairline at the bottom of the comb there. Cool.
It is much cooler.
And this one's got a weight line. It's a bit softened, so it's not your conventional strung shape all the way around. I prefer the softer look with these haircuts. So you can see that. So we can see our line where we want to go in there. And you can just go like that and do a soft version of that one. Take the weight to it. And then when you go behind the ear, you can angle it down towards the back. Or you could go straight, even all the way around, which is a little more severe, but we're doing a soft version of this haircut. So we're going to angle it around the back. Angle it slightly down. And to there. So the white line will go right into there. I think a few people watching are like, I used to get this haircut in the 80s or way back when. There was a girl and I was in grade 7 in my class that had this haircut. And I secretly liked her, but I was too shy to ever say anything about it. Today I don't even remember her name. So long ago. But she was the one girl that had, and she used to always get these haircuts, where other girls had the conventional long hair. She was the cool one. And I was like, try to be cool in front of her, listening to Depeche Mode on my Walkman or something. What are you listening to? Depeche Mode. Because you're trying to be cool, but really you're filled with anxiety. And she goes, and you're like, oh, sweaty palms. Oh, to be young, I wouldn't go back. People go back and do it all over again, would you? Oh, hell no, I wouldn't go back. No way. If you could go back and do it all over again, but today, instead of back then, double no. I think we had it a bit better. Every generation is different. Like, I wouldn't say one's better over the others, it's just different.
So incredibly different.
Yeah. Yeah. But you make the best of whatever you got, whenever you are. The life you're born in is the life you know. What you make of it. I used to make the joke, if you could go back and do it all over again, would you? And I was always like, no, because I barely survived it the first time, and there's a good chance I wouldn't survive it the second time. It's called quit while you're ahead. Yeah. And we can revisit the past on this channel. So you can see that shape coming together. And also for a scissor over comb, you see the way I hold the comb. And for those who are interested in becoming or getting into hairdressing, and this is maybe for some people who this is a whole new world for them, and they're watching this at 2 a.m. when they can't sleep. And the reason why, because you can pivot, like you could just, it's about having control over your comb. I'm using the wider one. That's for fine detail stuff. You go into the tighter. For like stuff like this, like taking out the bulk into that weight line, I'm going to turn the comb around. Cool. So that's a soft shape. Other layers there. Again, I want to be soft at the weight line. You can see I'm doing it there. There goes our garage door after hours. At this time of night, the door, if you didn't get your car out and you don't have an access, you're locked in for the night.
Glad I've happened to.
Yep. Most people don't know that. And then they bang on my door. Do you know that I get my car out of here? I should charge $5 every time I do it. I don't. I'm not that. I'm not capable of evil. But I've had to let them in countless times when I've been here after hours. So what we have at this point is our rough weight line. And the rest of it, I'm not going to comb it down into that weight line and cut. I'm not doing that technique. So what we're going to be doing as we bring the weight line down is we're going to be pulling it out to cut, to drop it into that shape. Sort of similar like how I did last week. I didn't go snip, 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 snip all the way around to that shape. I pulled out and went snip, 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 and dropped it into the shape. So we achieved that shape without cutting it all the way around into a geometric shape. We created texture all the way around where the texture fell into that shape. So we're going to do the same thing with this haircut. At this point, because I got that rough weight line in there, you can pull out. I'm going to use the fine side. And same as last week, you see that kind of following that weight line from what's underneath. And we drop that in. That way, for styling, it doesn't have a strong weight line. That's why when you came in today or for the past week, your hair was pretty much maintenance free, wash and wear, fell into shape. That's because of the way it was cut. It was sculpted to a shape where it was softened and dropped down into that shape. So this will be the same technique, just a shorter haircut, but it'll be the same wash and wear stuff.
Perfect.
And the haircut you had last week, I loved it so much, and I'm like, oh, I can't believe we're cutting it. But at the end of this one, I'm gonna love it too. So, and then we'll grow it out again. So you can see there what I'm doing, and you can also see the way I'm cutting. I'm not cutting straight into it, I'm going into it like that. So we drop it, and it's falling into that shape. And that's how you make it soft, which makes it more feminine. But also, because these are severe shapes, but when you soften them, you can stomach them more. Someone can pull it off better. Because we're doing like out-of-date haircuts on people today to make them work. And it's the cutting technique that makes it work, really. Cool. Come around the other side. Start right here. And for ergonomic purposes, I'll just continue that line from the back all the way around the other side. And like I said last week, hair is bad ergonomics, so when you cover on this side, your posture's not as good. So it's looking at the sculpt and the shape. And that's starting to come together. Anything new for the past week?
Oh, very fast.
It has. It's almost Easter. By the time I post this, it'll be after Easter because I'm a few weeks behind filming too. I'm like the TV shows where they film the season and then they end up being released one at a time over time. And some I squeeze in over others. And some are, there's no real production schedule. It comes down to what inspires. And then you can see the weight line there. We're getting into the crown. So there's our guide. And cutting it with that soft texture. And letting that drop and fall into the shape. If anyone remembers Dumb and Dumber, they went snip, 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 snip. That's the difference between having that strong shape and a soft shape. It's just the way that I pull out, cut, and let it fall into that shape. Nice catch. Cool. Open this up one more. And at the crown we can pull up and that sort of thing. My daughter's got a dance competition in Christchurch. So we're going to take the ferry down to a road trip to Christchurch.
That's exciting.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Mm-hmm.
My kids have never been on the ferry between the North Island and the South Island.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. A very Kiwi thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
They're the first generation Kiwis, so I can't deny them that experience.
I did get to see a cast and crew in the screening of the film that, it's a short film that I participated in.
Oh yeah, cool.
That was pretty awesome.
So it's getting close to a final product.
So yeah, it's going to be entered into some film festivals, so be some time before that's available, but
That stuff's fun.
it's awesome.
Are you used to seeing yourself on the screen?
No.
No. Some people never get used to it.
No.
Now also some people can't watch what they've been in or what they've worked on. For me, I've done hair and makeup on film sets.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, because they don't film a movie in the order that you've seen. It's the film schedule means that you could be filming this 5th scene and then the 20th scene, and it's all like the way the film production schedule goes. It's all edited together into a story in the end. But when you're on the set, you would know as much as I do. But the best is when I go on film sets, I refuse to know anything about the movie. So I don't want to see a script.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, I don't want to do anything, because what happens is like I'm watching the movie through a jigsaw puzzle. Like this part, this scene, we're shooting this scene, this scene, this scene, this scene, this scene, this scene, this scene. But when you get about a third through the shoot, you're like, I see what's going on here. So I'm not watching a movie from beginning to end. I'm shooting a movie, and then when you're there, you don't even pay attention to the lines or anything, but you can't help it. It's there anyway. But then you get to a point where you realize what's going on, and then sometimes I don't even want to see the final product. It's like, okay, it's a story about blah blah blah. I can tell you everything about it without ever seeing the movie, because you're piecing it together as you go, which is a very unique experience. Cool. So you can see the white line, there's still some jagged edges there, so that means I'm just going to go in there and do a little more sculpting. It's just too easy to go in there and just start going snip, 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 snip. No, I'm not doing that. We're going to avoid it. So it just means more sculpting to do. Because even when you're acting, you may only appear in 4 or 5 scenes. So you don't get to see the entire thing through. So you only see the part that you're in.
Yes, I love seeing the whole story.
Yeah.
My part's a bit awkward to watch, but
Is it? Yeah. But I've seen one of your scenes already. You're pretty cool at that. You're really good at that kind of stuff. Yeah.
This is a pretty awesome black and white sort of sci-fi kind of just awesome. I think you'll love it actually.
Yeah. And then you see that side will fall the shape better. Needs a little more though. That's better. I got songs in my head from today. And then you can't play music on this channel, which is the biggest disappointment because it's a retro haircut. So like you would think music and this channel would go hand in hand, but because of copyright,
Yeah, sing it then, right?
yeah, then you can't do it. But especially like a haircut, like we could do a song because you put a dress on, you get the haircut and the song that goes with it. And I would love to do that. Like this is the song for this haircut. I would so love that concept in here. What song would I play for this haircut? I don't know. Something from around 83, 84. Maybe the Depeche Mode. People are people, so why should it be? You and I should get along so awfully. So what people can do at home is they got access to their computer. They can just call up that song and watch and listen to that song while I'm cutting hair. That's the other thing I could do. I could do the song for the song for this haircut will be, and then it's up to them to play it. Because then that's how you avoid the copyright. Yeah. Or they can just play whatever inspires them watching. Because maybe Bananarama inspires them. And up a wee bit. So we're going to do a longer fringe with this? Or you want to do a shorter fringe?
That's a question.
Because this is your chance to top it.
I trust your judgment on
Yeah,
this
we're going to go
one.
shorter with it. Last week was a longer fringe, but this is, you got consent to cut your hair, so let's not hold back. The production said you can cut it. So let's not hold back. So that's a soft. And our guide, that way with it. And do that sort of thing with it. I'll spin so you can see the guy a little better. Still on the longer side, but shorter than what she had. And just soften that weight line a little more all the way around, and then I think we're good.
Perfect.
And same as last week, I'm not really doing cross-checking and things like that. Some people are really kind of, sculpt, look, move it, feel it. It's being visual, feeling it. But there's nothing wrong with cross-checking. I'm just, I still do it. I don't do a big emphasis on it. If I'm doing like the perfect little structured bob, yeah, I would probably cross-check more than I would normally do. It's still a tool to use, but you can also look at it and feel it and see how it falls. And then we're going to do the wide one. because at this point I'm visualizing how it sits with this final style and all. So you can see that, because we want, even with a wash and wear, so it falls into a style effortlessly, and that's why it's been cut that way. So you can start to see that's happening there, and same over here. And that's why they go soft and soft and soft with it. But the only issue I have at the moment is still a wee bit bulky back here. Not too bad, but same thing. Pull it out and search for bulk. Start from around here. And you can see a bit of bulk in there. It's also tempting to go in there with thinning shears and just go boom, 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 boom. But like last week, we didn't use thinning shears last week. We're not going to use them this week either. So we're just going to remove the bulk the old-fashioned way, this way. Sculpt it out. There's other techniques too, where you could go in with your scissors and do that kind of thing. But that's also replicating the thinning shears with scissors, but we don't want that. We just want to soften the weight line and let the weight line drop. Soften, you just, instead of having straight cuts, but no thinning of any sort with this hair. That's just what I want for this haircut. But you can also thin it too. I just want to avoid that. The method of my madness. And I also do a lot of this, just to break things up too. And how much you go in or out, it's discretion. And the back's done without clippers. You can go in there and finish it off with a number 2 at the bottom. I might do that. But yeah, we're starting to see. Now, every time I do this haircut, to me, it's called the Disneyland haircut because one of my clients called it that years ago. Because when she was, what it was she had a fixie and we're growing it out. So I cut it with this wave line, so the wave line goes into a bob eventually. So I said that, we had that conversation. I was like, oh, just cut that wave line, and then you go that to a bob over time. She's like, okay, cool. So you do the haircut, you show the back of the mirror, and she yelled at the salon, "Oh my God, it's the Disneyland haircut!" She yelled so loud, and the whole salon was looking over, and I'm like, "Oh my God!" And she goes, "Yeah, when I was 12, my mom's like, we're going to Disneyland, but we'll have to get your haircut first, and this is the haircut I got." So to her, it's the Disneyland haircut. So when I do this haircut on others, I always think it's the Disneyland haircut because of her. But when she yelled that out, the whole salon was like, she was like, "Oh my God, it's the Disneyland haircut!" And the whole salon was like, "Oh, what the hell?" And then she told me the story. I'm like, "Oh my God, it's the best." So forever, for the rest of my life, when I see this haircut, walking down the street and someone has this haircut, or this shape walking down the street, it's forever in my head. "Oh my God, it's the Disneyland haircut." And she's like, "That was my favorite haircut all my life because Disneyland's the happiest place in the world." So you get this haircut, you go to Disney, and reminds her of those simpler times in her life, which is what retro haircut's all about. Retro haircuts we're on here because it reminds you of a simpler time. That reminded her of a simpler time. There's the concept right there. The Disneyland haircut. Have you ever been to Disneyland?
I've been to the one in Tokyo. Was it Disney?
Oh, Disneyland, there's one there too. They're all over the world now. Like a franchise branching out everywhere. There's a Hong Kong one, there's a European one. I don't know if the Hong Kong one's still there.
I think my auntie's been to all of them.
Oh, yeah. I guess there are people who've been to every one in the world. And they have the cruises. Here I am in my their marketing director. No. I've only ever been to the one in Anaheim, but there's something I like about that one because it's the original, and it has this kind of nostalgic feel about it. And the other ones are all like created later on. But the one in Anaheim, I think, is something like some of the original rides, like It's a Small World, is like that's got to be real old now, or the teacups, because there's some of the original rides still there than when they first opened. But you know, their budget on maintenance, like those rides are in better shape now than when they first opened. The amount of money they spend on them.
I actually only got to go on one ride.
No?
One ride because it was so busy.
Oh yeah, there's days like that too. Yeah. But Japan, that's a busy place anyway.
We thought it would be okay because it wasn't holidays or anything. But
Yeah.
no. Only one ride, that was it.
Yeah.
So
But that country's
it's a bit disappointing.
yeah. I'm sure it'd be the same if I took my kids to Anaheim. I'm sure it's busier now than it's ever been. I'd be like, oh, when I was a kid and blah blah blah, and I take my kids there, and I'm like, it's not, you know, the realization is not 1983 anymore, or whatever those years. I went. I think the last time I went would have been in the late 2001. Last time I've been to Disneyland was in December 2001, just around Christmas time. That's the last time I went. So even that's 20 years ago. It would change even a lot since then. So if you pitch your head up a wee bit, see how soft and textured that is, and that's without any thinning shears and everything. And that's kind of like, yeah. Now I'm gonna just spin around so people can see. And they haven't done clippers on the back yet. I'll do that a wee bit. But yeah, there we go. So that weight line's there, but really soft version of it. A little bit longer fringe. And we'll give clippers because people want to see clippers. So we'll start with the number 3. Just at the bottom, so we're going to taper it out. The rest we're going to leave the scissor line. I'm not going to go in there with the clippers because the machine will take away that softness that was there. Just at the hairline. So that's the number 3 with the big ones. And then what I'll do is grab my trimmers. So this is a number 2 on this, just at the hairline and just into the hairline, not like, I know people are going to leave comments, they want to see number 2 all the way up, right to the hairline. But we're doing a soft version of this haircut.
Maybe next time we'll do it.
Maybe next time. Yeah, no, I just wanted to, because this would be more like 1984, getting your haircut in the mall. Not at the barber, in the mall. Or like a good hairdresser in 1983, 84. There would have been some clippers, but not barbershop techniques. And a little bit of just freehand, that kind of stuff with these. Soften it. And come around here. Just soften it a little bit. And we take the guard off. Now that's that Star Trek V. Very 80s. They even gave it to all the guys. They had little V sideburns and stuff.
My dad's a real Star Trek fan.
Oh yeah. Now it depends. Some of the stuff, like I like the Next Generation because I like Patrick Stewart a lot. In the original series, I grew up with that stuff, and I do get into that every so often. But I'm definitely TNG's my go-to.
That's it. Live long and prosper.
Yeah, that's the original stuff. I do like that stuff too. I didn't like the reboots, but I like the like it doesn't get more nostalgic than the original Star Trek episodes. But for me, because I was in high school when the Next Generation came out, and I didn't watch all the episodes when it first came out because when I was at that age, it was too cool for everything. I think I watched the pilot and a few episodes, but then later on I became obsessed because you realize that you're not really cool, you're just being an idiot, and you discover it more later on. I think it would have been syndication. That's when you come home from school and they're doing the reruns in syndication. Yeah, so what I'm doing now is where they did the clippers, I'm going to continue the rest with the scissors. goes into syndication, that's where you really discover it. And then the movies came out, and I liked every TNG movie ever done. In the original cast, there was some hiddenness. But beyond that, I never watched any of the other series. Well, except Picard. I watched Picard. So did you watch Star Trek or just your dad?
My dad was into it, so
Did you watch it with
I
them?
watched a little bit.
Yeah.
Mhm.
What's your favorite?
Don't ask me that.
Yeah, exactly. Now my kids aren't interested. My daughters? No, not interested. Cool. So yeah, you can look up now, and you can see how that would go if it's wash and wear. Now, how are we going to style this? Am I going to do a big emphasis on a style, or just wash and wear?
Either?
Wash and wear. I could style it like that picture, but I don't want to. I don't just want to do a wash and wear. Do a wash and wear with it. And then when it's dry, this is where you take a step back and you take another look at it with a clear head, because you see a different bit of bulk right there. So I'm seeing a bit, because like I said, here's bad ergonomics. When you're cutting on this side, it's a comfortable pose. But when you're cutting on this side, it's awkward. You're stretching in this area to get in there. So you can see stuff like that where you're not, the bulk's not quite matching, a little bit overly bulky. That just comes down to ergonomics. So you can see when I'm reaching in there and I'm kind of like standing in there and doing that kind of thing. Yeah, it's one of the ergonomic challenges, especially with a big chair like this one. But this chair is a character in this channel. So you see, I can see the weight line and the bulk that was there. So it's just softening that stuff. So when you drop that down now, you can see it's slightly better. But you go back 2 or 3 times, you know, fast haircuts, snip, 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 snip. These haircuts, you just go in there, soften, 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 spend your time and talk to your customer. You know, they're spending extra money. So they're spending time to be with you as well, to be with me as well.
Hairdressing's hard.
Well, you got to people manage at the same time. It's the skill. I love it because I'm a social person. It's like a sport athlete. Like it comes natural, like a baseball player. Like you can throw a baseball or you can catch it. It's like it comes natural. It's half the battle. But then the rest of it, you do have to work at it. Like you spend more time practicing than actual playing. The same with hair. It comes natural to some, and some you'll never get it. But even if it comes naturally, you still have to work at it. So it's, you know, kind of like being an athlete a little bit. It's a skill that you have to work at. And for some, they have more natural ability than others. And then there's the whole beauty school dropout scenario, like, oh, don't know what they want to do, and like, oh, go to hair school. And then some people were never meant to be a hairdresser, but they end up in that scenario. So I think hair schools have about a 70% dropout rate. 70%.
A lot higher than they expect.
Yeah, really, really high. Really, really high. Because me, I'm a lifer, but a hair school is going to be a waste of time for me. Because, you know, it's something that you just want to do and skip steps to get there. But advanced academies are going to be where you're going to gain from. But the initial base hair school kind of thing, it's hard for anyone to go through those. Better today than it used to be. So that's a bit better. Now if I was using cleaning shaves, I could just go in there and go, but I'm going to do like I did before. Just do that.
I actually bought my 13-year-old a pair of hairdressing scissors today.
Did you? Did they have a natural inclination towards it?
She does.
Yeah. And what'll happen, they're welcome to come in here and help us on Saturdays down the road, because that's another indication whether it's for you or not, is when the exposure to it. You come in and you sweep the floor, we teach you how to wash hair. So you can wash your hair to start and do a blow dry. And then you build the skills from there. So sweeping the floor, answering the phones, helping out, doing towels, running the laundry, And then when you're ready, we're going to give you shampoo, condition, and then you can work your way up to rinsing out a color from there. And then when your confidence grows, you can do a blow dry for someone who's got a color service but didn't book for a hair dry. But you're like, do you mind if our emerging stylist gives you a quick blow dry? You know, no expectation kind of scenario. Free. So you grab the people coming out of a color that didn't book a cut or a dry. Because they're like, I gotta go back to the office. Yeah, do a quick dry. So then you're getting your hands in there. And then the more opportunities you take, the next thing you know, you got your mom in or a friend in, and you're giving a bob. You're doing a bob or something, like a little trim or something like that. Recruit your friends in school. And you go from there. Now, Cheyenne, who works here, she's been working with me for almost 10 years now. She was in high school when she started here. So she started the same thing, Saturdays. And then I said to her, I said, you can work here under one condition, finish high school first. Because you can see that, like, why would I finish high school when I can just have this? I said, you can work here as long as you finish high school first. And so she was like, okay. Then she came back to me, she goes, what if I did, in North America we call it co-op, like, you know, where you go to high school but you have a job and they give you credit. So she said, what if I do that? I think we call it gateway here. Every country has a different word. I said, yeah, that's fine, as long as it gets you your high school diploma. And then the day she got her high school diploma, she started here full time. But up to then, she was coming here after school with friends and coming on Saturdays and using the space as much as she can. And but cool that she finished high school. The thing with high school is if you don't finish it when you're there, chances going back later on in life are like nil. Get it done. It's easy to drop out of school and do something like hair, but get it done. So this is there without a major style or anything. Clean up the hairline a little more. We'll spin you so they can see. Just cleaning up the hairline. I have an issue because people take my things and don't put them back. I'll use this one. That's so pretty as well. Rub in there.
Does that look stress?
Yeah, it does. And that's no styling. That's done with fingers. We could go in there and add some styling. This is not even any styling product. So this is just the shape, the way that shape is falling into shape without. I think we need to soften there a little more. Just do that. Yeah? You like your short hair?
I do.
Do you like this one better or the other one better?
They're different.
They're different.
They're different.
I like the other one better, but I like this one too. But my preference of the two is the other one's better. But I'm glad we did both. And then this will grow it'll evolve as it grows anyway.
And it grows so quick.
Yeah, your hair does grow so quick. I've seen that. I've seen the stuff you've done in the past and then it gets long again. I went through your portfolio, yeah. There's a lot of versatility with haircuts and colors and lengths and things in there, so this is just a continuation of that journey. And right now, I'm just being a perfectionist. You look at it. And just want to pull out. There's the weight line. I'm pulling it out. And the fun thing, like people can't feel your hair. Watching this, is you got fine hair, but lots and lots and lots of fine hair, which is good for these sort of things as well. And good for like when you cut it, but don't do a style. It just falls in that shape because you're seeing a lot of fine hair just falling into that shape that you sculpted, which is really cool. And you can see that weight line there. All I did was go back in there and soften a little bit. There is a weight line there. We want a weight line. We just don't want an in-your-face weight line. And then you can see there too. There's the weight line there, but it's not an in-your-face weight line. And your hair is going over this way. So there's more bulk that builds up this way anyway, because it's more dropping to this side. So let's just look at it and soften a little more if you need to. You're not going to create a perfect balance between the two sides when more weight is dropping into one side. It's always going to appear heavier. That's just the reality of more bulk falling into one side over the other. Yeah. Cool. And we'll spin you around. Yep, and I'm not doing a ridiculous 80s blow dry with it, just I like that wash and wear and that kind of texture. See how it moves with your fingers? And Wellington wind blows on it, and then you go inside and you walk in somewhere and it just drops into that shape. So there you are, wash and wear. Let's do some after shots. Cool. Good enough. And come on over and we'll, yay. Now we didn't style it like that picture because if we were going to style it like that picture, we would have needed mousse and to go in there and do that whole back kind of look. But no. And also, we don't match the pictures. I've said that since the beginning of this channel. We use the pictures for inspiration and we go in that direction. We're doing a modern take on retro looks for a lot of these as well. Because, yeah. Yeah. And that weight line is sucked all the way through. If you drop that a wee bit, you can see the way the weight line builds up a bit. And then the hair moves and it softens a wee bit. Same with this side. That's fun. Cool. And I'm not going to see you next week because there's no more to cut.
But
yeah, no, what we're going to do is, as it grows back, I'm going to give you trims that is going to be on me as it grows back over time. And maybe we'll do the odd photo or, update people as it grows back. So over the next year, this becomes this, becomes this, becomes this, becomes this, over time. But I'll treat it like a bonsai tree. I'm going to shape it as it grows back. So this is as short as we can cut your hair. We're not going to cut it anymore. Let this grow in.
I don't know. I could go for a mohawk.
Yeah, you want mohawk?
I haven't done it.
Oh, cool.
Wow.
Now this channel is like...
I need the cape on.
I know, I'm just being dramatic. But this channel is like, maybe he'll do it, because they've seen me do that before. Like, oh, look how great this is. And I take the clippers out and start to... It's happened before. Anyhow, we will see you as it grows. So you'll be a regular around here as well.
Good day.
Bye, tubers.